You ready?
There is a connection between the paranormal, UFOs, and the myths of ancient history. The clues are scattered across the landscape from a forbidden past, maybe even in your own backyard. There is a connection between the true nature of our reality, consciousness, and the unexplained. I'm Carl the Crusher. Let's explore the unknown. Welcome to the Carl Crusher Show. We are here live. I want to do a roll call and make sure that everybody here joining us in the chat can hear me. Can you hear me okay? Give me a big thumbs up or a smile. Say, can you hear me? Having some weird audio stuff going on. Maybe I'll move my mic up a little bit closer. Oh, I think I just got my computer volume. Sounds great. Okay, I got my computer volume turned down. Today, you guys, we're going to be talking about the UFO conference held with NASA today. We're going to be going over some of that and our opinions. We're also going to be going over into a deep dive with these alien bodies down in Mexico and all of the claims and how we're going to debunk them and some of the criticisms around what these could be all about, how they could have been made, and what it could actually represent. So it's going to be an interesting show tonight. And I'm excited to see everybody here in the chat. There's people from Facebook and YouTube all showing up. Sounds crystal clear. Excuse me. I just took a drink of my sparkling water and now it's trying to bubble back up and say hello. But you guys, this alien bodies, these were revealed in Mexico. So we're going to give a little bit of background. This is what they look like right here on screen. This is from Christina Gomez's channel when she live streamed it. And basically what happened, for those of you that missed it, was Jaime Musan, who's somebody that I know. I'm going to go ahead and mute this. Here he is at the Mexico UFO hearing coverage with subtitles. Okay, so there's Jaime. Now, I met Jaime at a UFO convention up by Skinwalker Ranch a little while ago. Talked to him. He was a great guy, but he's had a lot of criticism revolve around him over the course of his career as a ufologist and a journalist, where he has reported on and claimed that other similar type of mummies are real, and they have been scanned and later debunked and proven. One time he even came out and said that there was a little mummy of a fairy that had wings, like literally like something out of a Disney movie, a pixie fairy thing with wings that he thought was real. It looked like a praying mantis or whatever. But, we're going to talk about this and get your opinions, because the truth is, if these things are real, this is one of the most incredible discoveries and revelations ever. If these alien bodies are legit, it's going to tell us so much about our origins as a humanity and what it means to be alive on Earth. But unfortunately, I think that as we start to dig into this tonight and we start to look at it, we realize that these alien bodies allegedly aren't all that they're made up to be, and they could fall apart pretty quick once we start to go into the details. But these are the bodies. What they did at the UFO hearing in Mexico was they said that these things came out from Peru, and they came out from an archaeological dig in Peru at a burial site or something. And there's two of these mummies, plus they even compared it to the third one, which is way more familiar. We're going to get into that one. This one here, the unearthing Nazca mummy. And this one, remember, is from 6 years ago. And we'll talk about that, the way the hands are and the head and everything. We'll get all into that. But let's start out with the breaking news. Welcome everybody here from the chat. Hey, David. Hey, Bam. Hey, Nancy. What's up, everybody? I'll be getting over there to your chat here in just a second as we get through the recap. And we're going to go over all of your opinions. And do you think that these are real? Do you think these are absolute proof of alien life? Do you think that this is what they say it is. They're claiming that they're not extraterrestrials from another planet, but they're from this planet, like ultra terrestrials, or they're coming from some hollow Earth, some hidden dimension underneath us, or honeycomb Earth reality, something much stranger. How much weirder would that be if these are little reptilians from honeycomb Earth and the hollow Earth theory stuff is real, right? So, whether these are real or not, I think we've got a situation on our hands where, on the one side, if these are legitimate alien bodies from archaeological digs and they prove out to be true and they're reptilian and they're 90% not uh, human DNA, they're some unknown species, and they prove out to be extraterrestrial and legitimate, then these are the most phenomenal things ever revealed and discovered by mankind right now. And this is going to answer a lot of our questions going all the way back through history, some of our interactions that have happened with these things. But on the other hand, if this is a hoax, this is one of the grossest, ugliest hoaxes ever, because it means they're probably desecrating a grave, or at least they're implicating indigenous people in their burials and ancient culture and mixing it all up inappropriately with UFOs and aliens when they shouldn't be. So whichever one it is pretty interesting. Yeah, it was from a diatomaceous earth mine, not a graveyard. Aha. Okay, so there we've got a correction. So is that what all the powder is? So diatomaceous earth is crushed up seashells and ocean bed and coral reef floor. So if this is true, yeah. So be careful before I say something. Nah, this is a question and answer conversation of discovery. I'm not being fact checked here like I'm an authority reporting on the topic. Okay. So we're having a conversation here, and I want to know what you guys think. Do you guys think this is real? Do you think they're from outer space? Do you think they're from Earth? Or are they a total hoax? If I say something wrong, just correct me. No big deal. Yeah, diatomaceous earth. If that's true, that's really cool, because diatomaceous earth is like it keeps parasites and bugs and ticks away. It would totally be a natural embalming thing. I use diatomaceous earth. It's a white powder. I've got a whole bag of it in my storage, and you can use it to keep fleas and ticks and things like that. And it's a preventative thing for deworming. You can actually mix it in water and drink it, and it's good for deworming. Yeah, it's used to kill bugs. So interesting. If it is diatomaceous earth, so if it wasn't a diatomaceous earth mine, how is it not a burial still? Were they just like laid down in the mine? Were they just dug out of a dirt wall? Or were they found in a cave covered in diatomaceous earth? So yeah, we're exploring all of this stuff. So is it debunked? We're going to talk about debunking it. Okay, because a lot of people say that these are not real because they're claiming, when you let's see, is this the one? Let's go ahead and get into it. There's a lot of people that claim that these bones are incorrect, even though they're claiming that these alien bodies have got eggs, and they're showing x-rays with all sorts of biological material, and they've got three fingers and it all looks right. There's a lot of people showing that these bones are femurs facing the wrong direction. The bones in the hands and things are actually from the feet, like they've been taken from someone's feet and moved up to the hands. Parts of the shoulders and stuff are backwards.
Me?
We're gonna get an ad here. Okay, so we'll pop this down for a second while this ad plays in the background. But one of the other theories here is that even the skull of these aliens is really, here it is. There we go. Is actually the skull of an animal, a llama. You see the eye sockets and where the mouth would be, the shape of the brow here, and the way the skull goes back. What it is the animal, a llama, right? And they take the brain cavity out from the top of the llama, and they remove all of the jaw, the mandible, the teeth, and all the extra stuff, and they just leave the brain cavity, and then they flip the whole thing around, and where the spinal column would go in, see, they'll pull out this, here's the skull, there's the alien skull. Now, here's another thing to keep in mind. This is 2 years ago, so when they're rolling these out at the press conference or in front of Congress and saying that these are real, and it's like breaking news, we're supposed to accept all this like this is brand new information. Same thing with the United States whistleblower conference in front of Congress. They came out and acted like this is breaking news, groundbreaking. We're hearing from the government and from everybody for the first time. Let's not forget that this was all information. Fravor, Grush, all those guys, everything that they said was all, trust me, bro. Someone told me one time. And it was also information from 2014 and old stories. NASA just came out, right? And in their hearing, holy smokes, are you guys there? My whole computer just like smoked out on me. My internet just crashed out. What happened? They don't want me talking about this or something. Sorry. What the heck? That was wild. Did I just suddenly cut off? Yo, can you guys see me now? Am I even still going? Holy crap, what happened? Wow, okay. Freeze mode. What the heck, dude? This is crazy. Okay, this is where I was gonna go. You can see me now? We're back? Holy crap. My entire Google Chrome just went blank on me. I lost all my icons on my screen. It looked really funny for a second, and all of a sudden it rebooted. So just the audio quit, and then I froze up. Ah, that's weird. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. But yeah, what I was saying was at this NASA conference, when they got up and they were talking, they went over, they actually discussed some of the main uh, Navy videos, like all of the ones that everybody has been proud of in the UFO community. Sadly, these guys came out just in NASA and said that they reviewed those, like the gimbal footage, and they came to the conclusion that the thing was only moving 40 miles per hour. So the odds of it just being a balloon went way up, you know, if these guys even know what they're talking about. Because here at this NASA conference, they were supposed to come out and disclose everything that they know about UFOs. And basically, what they said was they thought that all of it was totally just balloons, drones, misidentifications of other airplanes. And then they went on and had the arrogance to say, we're going to create an app that's going to give you guys the opportunity to send us your cell phone footage. Well, it's like, what? Why would NASA, why would they basically try to copy MUFON? Now we're going to have some other, basically a data scraping app that's built by NASA itself that we're all supposed to just go join. Like, these guys in this conference, they talked like it was the first time they'd ever even taken a look at UFOs. And then they went and looked at it and they said, you know, most of them, if not all of them, are balloons. And then they said that their footage was too blurry to be determining anything, and that they were going to create an app for us to all send their stuff in. Yeah, NASA, never a straight answer. So here's the question. How long are we going to keep giving these guys tens of millions of dollars of taxpayer dollars in funding when all they're going to do is turn around and tell us to use our cell phones anyways? Right? This is why I'm way more interested in going out and doing my own research. You know, even when later on when they did they had a Q&A, And I think where is it? The first guy to get up was James Fox. That ain't him. But he got up and asked a really good question, basically like, what does this mean for the study of UFOs and UAPs? And they just like basically fuddled around and they just said, all of our images are blurry. It was so ridiculous. They're like, we went through all of the data and it was all blurry. So we're going to create an app and you guys are going to send their footage in. So it's basically, yeah. So, yeah, exactly. How come, yeah, old relics. How come all the NASA pilots? Yeah, let's get to your guys' thoughts on all of this now that we've been talking about it. I'm going to play this unveiling here in the background and let's just talk about what we've learned now that we're watching this. So yeah, you've got Jaime Maussan made the presentation in Mexico, very well known for hoaxes. How come the NASA pilots are the ones all coming out saying that there's UFOs, but the NASA comes out and they say, "Ah, we don't even have the technology. It's all blurry." Right? They disclose these aliens. Yeah. So they disclose these supposed alien bodies, but then it seems like they're tied into these disclosures that came out clear back in 2016, 2017 about the Nazca bodies and mummies. Apparently, they came out of a diatomaceous earth mine. But here's the thought. Let's talk about this. How is it possible that they have, uh, if these are hoaxes, let's debate then. Why do they display on screen all these different companies that are the ones that apparently did the research here? Who are these? You've got this one here, CTGA, Harrisburg University, Synforgen. That's a bad name. Synforgen? Synforgen. Beta. Are these legitimate? Lakeheed, Genentech, St. Petersburg University? Are all these people putting their reputations on the line saying that this is legitimate? But then you come back here and you look at the bodies and they look so fake, like they're made of paper mache, yo. And, something else fun that we could do tonight is maybe we could try to recreate X-rays. What if we tried to recreate X-rays live? Yeah, see here they reference this, the Cusco, Peru cultural minister. Like they're playing this off like this is all real, but the possibilities are that the three fingers could have just been how they extend back the palm. They could take the hand wrapped over like this and separate the palm back to the wrist. See what I mean? And make it look like these long three fingered hands when really they're just modifying a normal hand to look that way. It's all very suspect, right? But even on this other YouTube video, they make the comparisons. They line up the llama skull, the inner brain chamber, and it matches very, very closely the dimensions and the type and the way that it would all look if you detach that and made it into the skull. There they even have the replica of how that overlays if you sanded it down and left part of the back of the skull of the llama. So this is pretty interesting. Yeah, the llama. So how do you make sense of that? One of the other things that I did notice as well when they show the body scans here, these x-rays. Let's see. See if we can get to the x-rays. These little, let's see, these hip bones. Yeah, see they show the petroglyphs and compare it. There's the eggs. Oh my gosh, the embryos. Okay, so they have these pelvic bones that protrude out to the sides. But for some reason, in the X-ray data, if I remember correctly, let's see if we can get there. These things are so weird. Don't they look just like ET from? They look like Mac and Me, the alien off of Mac and Me. Okay, we're gonna try to get to the X-rays here. I'm just scanning through the actual video. Okay, here we go. Look. So you've got the bone. See how the bone is all white? It shows up in the 3D MRI scan. Bone, 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 all the bone. But why? How come the hip structures, the pelvic bones? Let's see in the other X-rays here. All these 3D animations. Yeah, the way that the hips shoot out like this. Here's what's weird though is there are petroglyphs that show that line going through the abdomen and through the hips like that. Weird. So if they're faking it, they're trying to make it look like ancient cave art. Okay, let's go back here. Is the DNA? See, they're even claiming that they broke down the DNA. See, there's the bodies. I can't find the part. Oh yeah, what do you guys make of these metal inserts? There's these like almost like android chest plates that are inside the body. Ah, that all does look like bone, right? That's right. They require proof. Let's see. Mac and Me. More believable. Yeah, it totally looks like Mac and Me. Check this out. So look, we'll come back to where this one, this angle right here, this holy smokes, this looks like ET phone home, like all the way. Here's Mac and Me. Right? Is this is this what we're dealing with? But I don't know. See, Mac and Me's got the ears. It's so crazy. Like imagine if they have been basically prepping us as a society because what if they actually do really look like this and that's how dumb it is. So compared to the ET alien, look at this, yo. I mean, this looks so much like it. It is crazy. Come on. Nope. I'm trying to zoom in. My mouse is having a hard time. Try not to double click. There we go. Okay, so we got ET over here and the one in Mexico here, right? Look at that. Look at the neck and the way the head is and the nose and the mouth. That's crazy, right? I mean, so if they're faking it, they're totally trying to appeal to our subconscious imprinting and what we've been programmed to accept. Isn't that crazy? I mean, we have to ask the question now, did Steven Spielberg know? And how far back does this whole scheme go? Or is this just Jaime Maussan trying to get attention, trying to push these mummies? Most people, so I did a live stream on TikTok earlier and had like 2,000 people in there. And I'm telling you, it was like everybody overwhelmingly was under the impression that these were totally bogus, that they were paper mache or something, or that even worse, they were actual desecrated Peruvian mummies out of graves or out of diatomaceous mines or pockets in the earth or whatever, and that they've been dug up and modified with animal bones and patched together in a way that don't even make sense, right? Like, could this actually be it? This has been done before. There's been so many historical anthropological hoaxes and Darwin jokes and evolutionary pranks where they've used different types of primate skulls and they've swapped out the teeth or the jaw and or a human skull and put in a chimpanzee skull to try and make different forms of human in the evolutionary chain. There's been so many of those. Hi, Chris. Yeah, I've got you guys' questions coming up. No ears, no nose, just a slit in the mouth. Correct. Yeah, what do we all think about the three fingers and toes? We all just watched a free ad there here for this dude. Scientists Against Myths. We'll subscribe to him. I'm not afraid. Yeah, so here they're comparing the way that all of this lines up. Like they could have just modified with other tissue or slid this skull up inside a different body or cavity, adapted it. But I don't know. There's apparently all these major studies that have been done with DNA, uh, MRIs, tissue samples, and all that. So far, I think the overwhelming majority believe that these things are bogus. What did they say here? Often burials. Yeah, they wear necklaces and jewelry and stuff. I highly recommend. So this guy's actually going to attempt to do it. He's going to take a llama skull. That's cool, and he's going to go all the way down and construct this thing. See, he's even made an entire alien creature just constructing things around, just showing how you can make easily fake and make a body. So, I mean, do they even look real? Does it just look, I mean, kind of looks like it's made out of claymation, right? Some of you guys are saying how embarrassing for Mexico. Is somebody really going to do this to get laughed out of the room? I mean, Musan certainly has before. I don't know. The hip bone and the thigh bone. See, it's talking about how it's actually a shin bone being used as a femur and flipped backwards. How anatomically none of it makes sense that this thing would even walk, but it is somehow real bones, either animal bones or human bones put together. Here's a comparison of the alien skull going through a full llama skull. Very similar. I don't know. Wow, look at that. Even the way this comes down, it seems like you could, grind it down and modify it and just take this inner cavity, right? Here's this other side scan. Interesting. This is the other one that they claim the shorter body. They didn't show this one as much, right? Okay, we haven't looked at this one as much. Very interesting. This thing looks like it's legit got scoliosis or something. The fingers are either there and they're fused together as well as the toes, or they're missing, or the hands and the feet are missing, have been broken off. This one reminds me so much of that Russian alien dead body. Let's see. The Russian alien in the snow. Do you guys remember this one? Let's see. Uh there's all I don't want to bring it up on screen yet because there's all these other dumb videos. Here, we'll just pull it up here and see. As soon as the ad drops. Okay, so there's an ad playing on the other screen, and I'll pop it up. But keep an eye on what this body looks like: the head, the eyes, the mouth, the way the little nose slits are, and all that. Where is it? Holy crap, this is okay. There we go. I had to come over onto the history channel here and pull this up, but skip ahead to see this. So look at this one. I don't know how much they're going to show before it cuts over to the commentation. Somebody here. Remember this one? Here's one's apparently over in Russia, and it looks an awful lot like this little one, but this is the shorter one. The main one that everybody focuses on is this one that looks like ET, right? This whole thing is so fascinating. So, yeah, here's the question. Is it counterintelligence? Is this a distraction meant for us to be looking at these instead of looking at something else? Why do they want us to look at these alien bodies? Why do they want us to be looking up at the sky for UFOs and whatnot? Disinformation tactics. What are they distracting us from then? So the young one was killed, you think? That's what they're saying, and this one wasn't? So this was supposedly a little one, and this one was older? Bones barely covered, no muscle. I'm gonna hit play on this over here, so this is moving in the background, but right, so the question is, what are they trying to make us not notice? Is it the fact that Putin just met with Kim Jong Un? Is it the Biden laptop? Is it the weapons development stuff that they're actually hiding that they want us to blame on UFOs and aliens instead? From Facebook, it's paper mache. Uh, it could be. These could be, that makes sense. They covered in diatomaceous earth. That's a good observation there. So they're setting up the aliens, Roger says, as a new boogeyman. So a false flag. Is this a part of the psyop for Project Bluebeam where they're setting us up so they need to imprint in the psychology of people what these look like at a basic level? So if they hoax it or fake it in some way. There's a good question. How can this be a distraction when it was scheduled in Mexico? How is it a distraction when technically this this is a video that Gaia came out with 6 years ago. So it's really not anything new, right? Have they debunked this one yet? People say it looks like a piñata. I've been hearing that all day too. It totally looks like a piñata, except for the x-rays totally look like real bones. Okay, while that's chilling there, let's try this here. I'm gonna go. I wonder. Bear with me. Now I'm gonna try to see if I can switch back from this. Share a window. There you go. Okay, this is gonna be kind of cool. Now this is funny too because now this is I recently did a whole video about escaping Mormonism and how I got out of the Mormon church. One of the ways that I did created the thumbnail for that and backgrounds and images for my images for thumbnails is I'm using artificial intelligence. So let's just see on the fly if we can use AI and we're going to try to fake these x-rays. So let me minimize this and see here. So all you do is you right tab, imagine, and we'll just say realistic alien extraterrestrial X-ray scan. Let's see. Medical files. Let's just see what happens here. Thanks for joining, Chris. Thanks everybody for being here. Okay, so now this is just going to kick up on the fly. You're seeing this live. So now this is going to come up with the head, right? So I didn't delineate that, what part of the body. So let's just say this here. So while it's doing that, we'll just say imagine, tell it the same prompt, and we'll just say hand with fingers, real bone structures. So while that's thinking, this is what we just got on the first pass. These look like more like real human ones, right? But still, you can tell that they're digital. You can tell that they're AI, but still pretty legit how you can just come up with this. Oh, look, here's one. It's coming up. These are all one, two, three, four, five. Oh, this is extra digit instead of three. And this one's got four. So we're trying to see how easy it is to just fake. Yeah, okay, we'll keep going. So yeah, three elongated fingers and toes. So we'll try that here. Interesting. So just on the fly. Okay, so we'll copy this. We're trying to see if we can emulate MRI scans and things like that, how easy it would be for a professional to fake this stuff. Hand with three, three fingers, bone structure, X-ray scan, medical files. Let's just go red. Let's just try this. But so far, I mean, it's pretty curious just to be able to see what we can come up with on the fly. Can we even get close? Can we fake a three-fingered hand in an X-ray or MRI? And I think even just trying in about 5 minutes, we can come up with some weird stuff. And I think a professional would be able to dig in and probably get closer. I know that the 3D design software for video games is even better than what we saw in the MRI scans at the UFO conference. So these are red looking alien hands. So you could pick one, refine in. I'm saying hands and scans, and so it's doing plural, three fingers, hands, right? So interesting stuff here. Now, what's funny is Mexico comes out with these Peruvian mummies, and they have all this data with all these scans and everything like that, with all the DNA and everything. But the United States, for some reason, only comes out with rumors and trust me bros and all of that. And they don't release anything. And even when NASA comes out in their press conference today about UFOs, they claim that all of their technology only has produced blurry images. Yes, no thumb. You're right. We need to look up some of these companies and see if there's any papers produced with the alien autopsy and dig into that. Can we dig into the actual paperwork behind the agencies that they're name dropping, claiming that did the DNA genetic research on all of these? Who did the x rays and what did they actually say? And can we translate that? Can we see what they really said? I agree. See what's legitimate and what's not. What was their real conclusions? Or do we just have, we're not just taking uh, Mr. Mantilla and Jaime Musan's word for it? Because it's very convincing when, especially when they start tying it in, when they do, CT scans like this, procedural ones and everything. I think what we need to do, you're right, we need to go and look into these companies. So they come in and they start dropping all this medical data and these medical scans. What if the people that did these scans have different opinions and their conclusions are getting cherry picked for these presentations? And do you think that that's what's going on at the UFO conferences in NASA? Are these people being puppeted and controlled, right? What's up? Your kid would like me to say hi. What's up, sportier son or whatever? Yeah, this whole thing is fascinating. Why would they put metal stuff in there and bridge across the chest and everything? Is that just like a support brace? Did they not realize when they made these, or are they real? Did they not realize they were going to get scanned like this, or are these things real? I am currently of the opinion that these are bogus. Sad to say, I do not think that these are real alien bodies. I think that the evidence pretty much overwhelmingly shows that they don't match up. These x-rays look pretty cool. They just popped a thing out that this is a fox. This is actually the body of a dead fox. Is that what they just said? There's several debunking videos like this. Eh, it's made of an entire tubular bone. So the neck of the little one doesn't even have any spinal columns. It's not even something that's ambulatory. They can't move the head. It's just one solid pipe, like they just shoved a bone up in the neck. That's wild. Yeah, you can see where the fingers and things were smeared on there. This is a really excellent video where it actually goes in and it compares human foot bones that were taken and used up to be hand and arm bones and things in these skeletons, and how when you compare it, all of that matches up. So these have been around for quite a while. So the idea that these are new announcements, that these are new skeletons, that this is new data, these mummies that are covered with this diatomaceous earth have all been known for quite a while. This video by Gaia is 6 years old. There's been so many videos already 2, 3 years old that say that they're made out of animal bones shoved together into possibly real human corpses, real Peruvian elongated skulls. You know, the odds of these being real, if they are real, it's the most mind blowing discovery ever. If they're not, it's the biggest hoax ever for real. They're willing to go into all the data. Look at this. They scan them, they x ray them. Real Peruvian mummies look like this too. Many of them do have elongated skulls. They usually have hair and they look a lot more human. I don't know. It's interesting. They're sure pushing it. It's sure being set up like it's real. But what's sad is meanwhile here in the United States, this whole thing is like a joke where they come out and NASA, the best they can do is get up and he reports and says that the cameras that they use are too blurry and you can't get any usable UFO data out of them. And they're just going to create an app, so just like MUFON or something that we can submit our data to. I'm like, well, why don't we then just realize that now is the time for us to work with each other to stop this entire thing, where we can get to the point where we're supporting each other on each other's Patreons, we're subscribing to each other's YouTube channel. If NASA is the ones coming out telling us to just go use our cell phones, I'm like, that's what do you think I've been doing for 3 years at Skinwalker Ranch and Mount Wilson Ranch and going out and what everybody has been doing. So what are we waiting for these people for? Why don't we just do this ourselves? Why don't we go up and dig the tunnel open at Mount Wilson? Why don't we look for the metamaterials? Find if the Peruvian mummies are too suspect and we can't trust Jaime Maussan, we have to trust each other and support each other and do this on our own. Nobody's going to come out and tell us the answers. Obviously, we have waited all this time for NASA to show up and give us answers and actually say something. And when they really did show up, they basically said all their cameras were too blurry and that we need to use our cell phones. They said it was everything that they knew was all balloons and drones, and there was only the metal spherical ones moving anomalous that they couldn't explain. And honestly, these guys seem so out of touch with what's going on in the UFO community in relation to quantum physics and studies and doing meditations, and how we're all already going outside with our own thermal imagers and night vision, trying to do different telepathic experiments to communicate with these things. We're doing light and sound and frequency experiments in these hot spots on our own. And these guys act like, I bet if I sat down at the table with all these guys, I feel like they wouldn't have a clue what I'm even talking about with the stuff that we've been doing, even just on my YouTube channel and among each other as friends. I don't think they would have a clue how fast we're running and running circles around these guys. So why are we giving them tens of millions of dollars of taxpayer funding every year to take blurry pictures, right? Like, what are they really doing? What are they really doing? The whole thing is really interesting. And so with that, that's why I really feel like we need to take more of a focus on real locations. And I'm going to be shamelessly self-promoting for the next little bit this project that we have going on at Mount Wilson Ranch, where these guys, Bigelow's former UFO and research team before Skinwalker Ranch, with Jacques Vallée, Hal Puthoff, Colonel Alexander, Eric Davis, Colin Kelleher, all these guys were up at a place called Mount Wilson Ranch where there could be something real. So last time when we went through this in the last live stream, I kept stopping and commentating and doing a whole bunch of stuff like that. But this is an amazing 5-minute clip that I want to be able to watch. This is posted on my Patreon page. I have a lot of cool stuff on there for people in the inner circle. Shout out to the new members. I didn't showcase the Patreon highlight inner circle page today because there's like 3 or 4 new members and I didn't have a chance to get it, the Photoshop thing updated. Okay, so here we go. Let's watch this about Mount Wilson without my interrupting.
One of the things I didn't even know about you is that there was a second ranch, the Wilson Ranch, and for all I know, additional properties as well.
Yeah, well, when I first started to do ET UFO research, I personally interviewed about 235 people, just myself and the experiencer. And most of those interviews were in the area between Caliente, Panaca, and Pioche. And then the Mount Wilson Ranch was in line with that. And the more people I interviewed, the more it was obvious that events were happening up and down that corridor. And the Mount Wilson Ranch was part of that corridor. And so I thought, well, it could be an interesting laboratory. And so that's why I bought it. And then I had some really good interviews with people very close. I didn't pay any attention to something at a real distance, unless it was huge, football stadium size. But if it were, a couple miles, a mile or two away, it didn't matter. That didn't count. I wanted stuff that was literally in your face or chasing you in your car, or you're sitting outside the restaurant and you're seeing this literally football stadium craft drifting across your town, so those are really interesting accounts. And the Skinwalker Ranch had a log house there that was about 1875 vintage, and it had a saloon like you would see at Knott's Berry Farm.
You mean the Wilson Ranch?
I'm sorry, the Wilson Ranch.
Yeah.
The Wilson Ranch. And so the Wilson Ranch had a house about 1875 in terms of its age. And the back bar came around, I think they said Cape Horn, and also at about that same time for this Knott's Berry Farm looking saloon that they had built there. They had built a saloon with other ancillary kinds of, like a little restaurant area and a commercial kitchen and so forth. And the little motel that they had there. And so interesting place, about 145 acres in size.
Then there was the issue you and I spoke of, I guess it might have even been yesterday, of the UFO that flew right into the mountain there.
Yeah. I was talking with these neighbors because there were quite a few other homes outside of the ranch. And so there were a group of them one night are looking up in the sky, and this unidentified flying object, this UFO, is doing figure eights, right? And it keeps doing them and doing them. And so they stand there and they're watching this, and then it deviates dramatically and it shoots off at low altitude right into the mountain itself. But there's no explosion. It's just gone. So the guys get together the next day, the next morning, they hike up there to the mountain and they're looking for debris. They're looking for burnt shrub, anything, trees, whatever. They find nothing, absolutely nothing. And that's similar to the story off the Skinwalker Ranch. There's a highway and there's a mountain that they had to cut in order to continue the highway. And it's not at that location. It might only be 75, 80 feet in height, something like that, 7 or 8 stories high. And we talked to somebody that said they had seen it, a craft, go right into that mountain and disappear.
I imagine that's where the legends got generated, that there are UFOs buried in the somewhere under the earth.
Well, I actually contracted, one of the contracts I had with a very well-known, highly regarded remote viewer
Hal Putoff, I
that
think.
worked for the government for quite a period of time and was tested by the government. And I could name the agency. It was an agency. The Army had its program and the CIA had their program, and each had their programs for about 20 years. And they put about $1 million a piece. So $20 million for the Army, $20 million for the CIA, what I was told. And so I hired him to remote view the Skinwalker Ranch. And boy, he was very accurate. I'm just thinking this is going to give Brandon some ideas now that he can do a show. Because what was really interesting was what he revealed as to what he thought was underground at a significant depth.
So there you have it, you guys. From Bob Bigelow's own mouth himself, a huge announcement. We finally watched it from beginning to end without interruption. He came out and admitted that Mount Wilson Ranch in Nevada is a place that football field sized craft would go in and phase in and out of the mountain. It's totally mind blowing that he finally came out and said that. But they were apparently up there looking for metamaterials and looking for things underground. They did have the giant bulldozer stuck in the meadow, clear up to the seat, up to the cab for over a year. And we are getting weird energy transmissions coming out of there. So this is the whole thing. When I see stuff like this whole alien bodies being revealed down in Mexico, and when I see at the NASA convention, when they come out with stuff like this, NASA is coming out and they're saying, oh, all of our stuff is blurry. We're going to have to use your cell phone footage. Mexico, the best thing that the Mexican government can do is sit and spend all their time on these. And most people, 99% of people are convinced that this is a hoax and that these are fake animal bones, paper mache, or some kind of a thing, Peruvian mummies that have been modified. But when we have real locations, like next week, I'm going to be going to this spot at Mount Wilson Ranch. I am going here. We're going to this location. You can go here. You can stay in the rooms. You can stay in that building right there that Bigelow and Jacques Vallée and Hal Putoff, and stay in the same bedrooms, sit on the same freaking toilet if you want, take your own gear, go do ground penetrating radar if you can afford it, bring a drone up and scan it. You can join the Patreon and help fund the research. And we're going to dig open a tunnel up there and go into the underground and see what this actually is buried and see if what Bigelow said is true. And we can go to these locations and do this all ourselves. We don't have to sit and wait for these guys to try and, wait for a decade for them to come out with this stuff. And to come out and walk out on stage and stand up here like this and tell us we hope to get around to using artificial intelligence, and we're going to use we'll create an app and crowdsource your cell phone pictures. And I'm not, the whole thing is like, when there's real efforts and people out there who are boots on the ground putting in the work trying to actually do this, and people having real experiences. Now, I'm not saying the aliens aren't real. When we make this video and we debunk all this stuff, I'm not saying that there's no such thing as extraterrestrials or other dimensional entities. I think that there are UFOs. I've seen UFOs. I've had experiences. I consider myself an experiencer at a very profound level. And when we go to Mount Wilson Ranch with our team, we go with archaeologists, scientists, we take infrasound, night vision, we take thermal imagers, we take EEG headsets, ground penetrating radar, advanced drone systems, and we actually go up to ancient ritualistic locations, indigenous locations that have been used to try and communicate with the deities and things like that. We look for signals and energy. And then we sit and we do group meditations, and we try to make contact, and we try to capture that contact with actual EEG brain scanning monitors and get the data, see if we can get proof. So there's real ways to do this rather than sitting around waiting for someone else to come along or for the government to come out and create some app for us to upload footage to. What a joke. I really felt like, yeah, this is all in Nevada. This is in Pioche, Nevada. Yeah, tired of pandering to the politicians and giving them millions of dollars just for them to turn around and tell us, that these paper mache alien fake things, and tell us that their cameras are too blurry, right? The whole thing is kind of a joke when you think about it. But you guys, I think that this entire thing is fascinating to go over, and it's been interesting to get some of your guys' different opinions. Really quick, let's do a roll call. Do you think that the alien bodies in Mexico, are these real? Are these real or not? Real or fake? And is NASA lying about the UFOs or not? Are they lying and saying that everything is blurry? Okay, let's say real or fake. Real or fake? We got a real. Got a probably. Got a bunch of no's who got some reals. A lot of I don't knows. Fake, unfortunately. Lying. I want to believe. NASA is lying. Real, not lying. Ike's real. I'm interested. It's questionable. Side eyes. Side eyes. A lot of people saying real now. Just someone's craft a moneymaker. Real. 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 People are absolutely not. Okay. It's like pretty split, guys. Pretty split. Didn't they do a DNA test? Lying. Absolutely 100%. You guys are so funny. Okay, now NASA. Let's go to NASA. Do they have UFOs? When they say that, oh, all their data is blurry and they think it's all balloons. NASA, are they lying or truth? Truth or lying? Jimmy Church says that he saw the tests. Let's ask Jimmy Church. NASA's lying. NASA's lying. Stacy could make a better one out of paper mache. I challenge you to do that in a TikTok video. I'd watch it. That's dope. Government's always covering up. Lying. Yeah, nobody can hear it because I'm not playing the audio. We're just doing a roll call right now. Are these guys lying or not? Do you want me to play the audio?
Of science and data to UAP. And this is the first time that NASA has taken concrete action
Everybody
to seriously look into UAP.
50 on the alien bodies.
And this independent study
That's so
team was
funny.
just that, independent.
His forehead
Now,
is alien.
NASA
You guys
has
are
a
so funny.
statutory authority.
All right, you guys are freaking awesome. I appreciate you guys so much joining me for this live stream tonight. Kind of a spontaneous thing. I've been chewing on this for a while. I wanted to go look at all the debunking videos about it. I wanted to look into the Nazca mummies. I wanted to watch this UFO congressional hearing. But at the end of the day, I continue to turn around and I say, why am I waiting for somebody else to tell me the answers? Why am I waiting for someone else when I can go out and do this myself? When we've got the Crusher crew, everybody else has research locations around them. You can go out and get affordable gear. And if NASA is going to come out and tell us, well, we're hoping we have blurry photos. We hope we can get better cell phone videos. What are we going to give it to them for? Let's just do this on our own, right? I absolutely think that we need to do this on our own. We're never going to get a straight answer. So we're going to keep telling our stories. We're going to keep sharing our evidence. We're going to quit trying to give it all to them as like they're the ultimate authority on all this, right? I think so. So appreciate you guys. Love you so much for being here. And we're going to see you guys in the next one.
You ready?
There is a connection between the paranormal, UFOs, and the myths of ancient history. The clues are scattered across the landscape from a forbidden past, maybe even in your own backyard. There is a connection between the true nature of our reality, consciousness, and the unexplained. I'm Carl the Crusher. Let's explore the unknown.